a small business or a BIPOC, Black-owned, socially innovative enterprise or a resource for you, we're doing that today. A tasty restaurant is in the spotlight. And then we open up the phone lines. But today we have a special treat. In hour two, we'll be hearing from the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, and she'll check in with us on things around and about this town right here. And of course, in hour three, we do a deep dive on a hot topic, a person or persons of interest, and looking forward to a conversation, a robust conversation about what's legal and what's illegal in the USA that's going on right now. We're going to look at what's the legal view of what this administration is doing with an attorney who I am absolutely looking forward to bringing back on the show. It has been a minute, and I have another special guest for you as well. Man, Mercury retrograde is retrograding hard right now. We're going direct. I can't wait. On Monday, we'll get out of the retro shade, I think, by the following week. But we're going to soldier on, as it were. So Cynthia McLean Hill is joining me hour three. And right now, one of my favorite folks to talk to about politics. She is a Democratic strategist, a journalist, an advocate, and a fashionista. Jasmyne Canick, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique.
How are you doing this fine day?
I am still trying to get there.
I know it's really early, and I feel like I owe you a large apology for always making you wake up, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway because I like talking to you in the mornings, and we all benefit. So last night, you reminded me of something that I had almost forgotten about. I wasn't tracking like that, although I was at the time that everything went down. And it's one of the rather complex, but yet not that complicated scandal drama in the city of Compton.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah. And because I know there are a lot of Compton listeners, y'all did nothing wrong. It
It
was
ain't
someone
your
else.
fault.
Right. It was someone else trying to run game on Compton voters.
Why
And
is that a thing? I mean, okay, I guess it's a thing everywhere, but I just feel like Compton voters seem to get the short end of the stick in some ways sometimes.
I think it's just communities where people think folks are vulnerable and not paying
Yeah,
attention.
yeah.
You'll find that they always try to take advantage of folks.
Yeah. So this case, if you will, it kind of revolves around the former council person Isaac Galvan, right?
Isaac
Yeah, I mean,
Isaac
yeah.
Galvan.
Yeah, well, you say Isaac in Spanish or whatever. Isaac Galvan, who um, w- I'm putting air quotes around, won his election by one vote or two votes or something like that, right?
It was actually, you're right. It was one vote, and this was back in 2021. I want to say it was 20. I believe it was 2021 because a lot of times in municipal cities in LA County, you have like your state primary, and then the next year is when you have your local
That's true.
races.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in cities like Compton, and this part is Compton voters' fault, you can literally win a race by one vote because the voter turnout is so low. And so that particular election, you had Isaac Galvan running for reelection. You had another person by the name of Jace Dawson, who I always call the incredibly talented what I call him the incredibly talented Jace Dawson, because he reminds me a lot of a character from a movie, who's a con man.
Mm.
And he came into Compton, lied to the residents about his qualifications, his residency, just basically everything. And tried to pull it off, and luckily there were a few folks in the community who were trying to sound the alarm to say, hey, this isn't right. He didn't work for these politicians. He doesn't have these degrees.
He's like our George Santos, right? I mean, in a way.
Basically, he doesn't really live in Compton. And thank you again to Gina Silva at Fox 11, who did an expose on him and actually caught him out in public and tried to interview him about many of the claims he was making, including one that he worked for Fox.
Yeah. I mean, those are not small lies. Those are outrageous lies. And
they were really big lies.
Yeah, they were whoppers. And easily verifiable. I mean, you either live somewhere or you don't.
Well, easily verifiable, again, though, when voter apathy is low, when races are won by 400, 500, 600 votes, these, again, going back to the beginning of the conversation, these are the types of communities that are targeted. And so he did his homework and figured out what would work, and, knew that he could appeal to our grandmas and our grandfathers by acting like he was the new generation. No one had ever heard of him, saw him, or anything before he decided to run, which is always a telling sign.
Comes from nowhere, yeah.
Right. So one thing led to another. He ends up being exposed. He loses, but Isaac goes on to win, and this is the same race that Andre Spicer is in, who is now the current council member.
Right.
And he wins by one vote. It turns out, though, that in the primary, I haven't had my coffee yet, don't get my terms right. In the primary, when Jay saw the writing on the wall, he partnered up with Isaac, and they started registering people who didn't live in Compton to vote.
In Compton.
Compton.
To vote in Compton, even though they didn't live in Compton, is the point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what was finally exposed. I was in court that day when I think we went to court a couple of times. It took a while. Eventually Isaac did lose that seat, and that's why Andre is the council member right now. But there was a criminal component too. Voter fraud. That's very serious.
I mean, it's also very freaking rare
right now.
It's also rare. I mean, that's something that Republicans are always crying and whining about, but it hardly ever happens. But in this case, that mess really happened, allegedly, but not just allegedly, because Galvan has already been held accountable for that, right?
Well, he lost his seat.
Yeah.
There were quite a few others who were also charged in the scheme. And they, admitted that they had, registered to vote at an address provided by Dawson, even though they didn't live there. They were charged with voting illegally in that June runoff election. And some of them, decided to cooperate with the authorities. But not Jace. Not Jace. He decided he was going to just, wait it out and, deny. He, he's been laying low. His latest let me choose my words carefully. His latest endeavors have taken him to the church.
Oh no, you're
where
kidding
you can
me.
also
You've got to be kidding me.
no, I'm not. And it's actually a church that I supported, but no longer, since they've decided to elevate him in that church.
Wow.
Every time I think of Jace Dawson laying hands or praying over anyone, I think of that one line from that Biggie song where it said, what is it, Dominique, where he touched his body, and made his body shake. You know, it's a line. I'm not getting it
yeah,
quite
I'm not
right.
good at
Touched his body
lyrics. Miles probably knows. I'm never good at quoting lyrics, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, you know, it's really true.
And really
I actually
sad,
cut ties with this church because of that.
That is
and the only reason I don't name the church is because of its founder, who I had a lot of respect for and has passed on. But, you know, that's another place where people can run cons. It's in the church.
Oh, Lord.
We've seen it happen a lot of times. But lo and behold, 4 years later, he's back in the news again because that case is going to trial.
Yeah. Well, we're going to tell you the details of that. A trial about corruption in Compton. But the good news is it's come to light, and we're going to see what's at stake. Also, we'll get into some LA politics. We got the mayor coming up at 7:30, but I want to get Jasmyne Canick's take on some rumblings, some of which are rumbling from her way about developments in, well, people that want to be mayor. Let me put it that way. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show only on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
So we're taking a little flashback in the city of Compton, kind of a sad flashback, but a flashback nonetheless, to the mess with Isaac Galvan, who is now a former council person because he was a council person and he ran, then he won by one vote, air quotes won, really lost. And now we have a trial coming up?
Right. So here's the thing that, happens, and part of it is the media's fault. And then some of it is our own fault as citizens. We forget about things.
Yeah, well.
And I always tell people it's a long way from bended knee to the altar. And it's true. And what I mean by that is that, yes, you see someone get arrested, you see someone get indicted, you see someone get charged. It usually can be years before that case is heard before a court, both in criminal cases and civil cases, right? We find that out all the time, like, for example, with these civil lawsuits against the county and police departments and the sheriff's department, right? The incident could happen in 2015 and doesn't go to trial until 2020, 2021, right?
Which is crazy to me. I mean, this is 4 years ago. Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Right, exactly. We've had elections since then. So, it's one of those things. And so, it's kind of like a refresher course. Hey, do you remember that this happened? Oh yeah, I remember that. Okay, well now it's kicking into motion again. Like I said, there were some other co-conspirators who decided to take a deal, who decided to plead. Either I recall correctly, it was guilty or what's the other one when you again have
no contest.
No contest. Thank you. Score for Dominique. But not Jace, because Jace was always a slick one. And if folks remember that Fox 11 expose, which I may have to repost today just for old time's
Yeah, I
sake.
didn't remember it, but man, that was miserable. I mean, he was running from the reporter and really didn't have good answers for her. He was just being sarcastic most of the time.
How do you have answers? You say you worked for Fox, and Gina said, well, we talked to our HR person, and they have no record of you.
Right. Right. And even bigger than that, you said you worked for Obama, and they have no record of you. That's like...
I mean, there's some really, really big lies. But again, when you're going into a community in order to deceive them, you do your homework. And he chose a community where he knew voter apathy was low, where he knew voter voter apathy was high, where he knew this coffee, I gotta have some coffee on the next break. Voter turnout was low.
Right.
And that folks were likely to just believe anything that he was going to say.
Yeah.
And it worked for the most part. I mean, it really did work. He did have supporters. But I think what's more shadier is partnering up with Galvan after losing in the primary, making some sinister backdoor deal to help him cheat.
Right.
But I mean, it comes down to one vote, 855 votes to 854.
So he knew exactly how many votes he needed because this guy registered, a certain number of votes to voters that weren't living in Compton to his address. But not only that, apparently the guy's kind of a serial con artist because he had other things. Galvan, that is, he had some shady business deal with a cannabis dispensary, right? He was dispensing bribes to, I guess, to this Jace guy.
He was accused of that, and his home was raided, and so Galvan had his own other criminal issues, and as folks in Compton are well aware that, DJ Quick's son was his council aide, and there was that unfortunate incident where Galvan and DJ Quick's son went to Galvan's baby mama's family house, and there was an altercation, and DJ Quick's son ended up shooting someone.
Allegedly.
Now, Galvan wasn't charged in that.
Right. Right.
But DJ Quick's son was. And it was all over the news, across the country,
Yeah, I saw that.
a whole big deal. So, I mean, he's had a lot of issues.
And somehow,
but the bottom line
I don't think I tracked this, the Gabriel Chavez guy, who was a planning commissioner who actually got indicted for and admitted to funneling bribes as part of the scam too, which was $300,000. I'm not quite sure where that went, but this is kind of a big grift with a lot of moving parts.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. And again, when the wheels of justice turn very slowly, and with all the things that are going on, not just in LA County, but in this entire country, it's really easy to forget things until they come back around. And this is that time where this case is coming back around. And so, familiar names are coming back up: Isaac Galvan, Jace Dawson, Gabriel, there's, and so, for Compton voters who remember how this all went down, this is something I think you all are going to want to, pay attention to, because it's a very important case. I mean, again, you had someone come into Compton, deceive the voters, lie about who they were, and then on top of all of that, illegally register people to vote in that city so that they could help Isaac Galvan beat Andre Spicer.
That's crazy.
And it is.
And I'm looking at this LA Magazine article. The guy still does have himself listed, Galvan, as a council member on Instagram. His IG is Councilman Galvan, which I mean, you literally got removed from office for corruption. But
grifters are going to grift, okay?
Yeah.
Grifters are going to grift, okay? Yeah. I just told you that Jace has moved on to the church.
You did say that.
He's even trying to use a new last name.
What?
I don't know what that's about.
Well, we can only imagine. Maybe he got married.
Yeah. Well, he's gay. Not saying that gay people can't get married. And that's not a secret. That was never a secret. No one's being outed here.
Right. Understood. But it is amazing. My point was that what you were saying, which is that a lot of times we don't pay attention. So this guy can actually be removed from office for buying and bribing his way to votes and have a shady cannabis deal and all this stuff and still describe himself as councilman on Instagram, and most people be like, oh, councilman.
Yeah, well, again, Jace is in the church praying over people.
Wow.
And leading them to salvation, I guess, his version of it. So again, we have a grifter in the highest office of the land right now. It's a great time for grifters.
Yeah, it's a grifter renaissance. But this guy has pretrial hearing today, right? I mean, it's moving forward.
I think it was yesterday.
Oh, okay, yesterday.
Okay. And so we'll have to see, of course, again, with the pretrial motions and the pretrial hearings, right? Let's get to the trial. Let's get to jury selection. And that is where we'll be headed if a deal isn't made. Now, again, it's been 4 years. He's had plenty of time to change his position, plead guilty, plead no contest, work something out with the district attorney's office, and he's decided not to. So my guess is that we'll be headed to trial. And if that's the case, I got some Jiffy Pop. I'm going to go get me some Red Vine.
Yeah.
And cop a squat in that courtroom.
Well, we've got news, traffic, and sports right here. Hard stop. I'll have some popcorn, too. I like the caramel corn, so I'll be indulging my sweet tooth on that one. We're going to talk about the L.A. mayor's race, which is ahead of us, when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams picked up endorsements from nearly 100 faith leaders Tuesday at City Hall.
Each one of you at one given time have prayed for me during the most difficult moment of my life. Look at these 3 years and 7 months. You don't survive this without faith.
Adams, who called bribery charges against him an unnecessary ordeal, says the DOJ's dismissal proves the case was political. A Georgia man is facing federal charges after threatening to kill Jews and black people. 42-year-old Christopher Robertson posted violent videos online and made disturbing visits to Jewish sites. He was arrested after a standoff with the FBI and remains in custody. And Sean Diddy Combs' legal team has asked the Trump administration for a pardon after his conviction on prostitution charges. Trump said a pardon is unlikely, citing Diddy's past hostility during his campaign. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Spending 2 hours staring at the back of someone's bumper isn't the best way to end your day. So Jack in the Box is giving you a bonus with their new Bonus Jack Combo. Fries, a drink, and a burger with your choice of 1, 2, or 3 patties, starting at just $4.49. Get so much more.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The LA Sparks are playing like one of the best teams in the WNBA. They beat the Indiana Fever Tuesday night 100-91 for their 7th win in the last 8 games. Kelsey Plume had 25 points and 11 assists. Rickea Jackson also dropped 25 points. The Sparks are now just 2 games below 500 at 13-15. On July 3rd, they were 5-13 and showing no signs of being a playoff contender. The Sparks are at home Thursday night against the Connecticut Sun. The Dodgers beat St. Louis 12-6. Max Muncy and Teoscar Hernandez each had 4 RBIs. The Angels lost to Tampa Bay 7-3. Tampa Bay scored all 7 of their runs in the 4th inning. An oldie but goodie is coming back to the Chargers. Wide receiver Keenan Allen, who played his first 11 seasons with the Chargers, re-signed with the team for a 1-year deal. The 33-year-old Allen played last season with the Chicago Bears. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Your child is 18, and suddenly you no longer have legal access to their medical info, even in an emergency. No health decisions, no financial help, nothing, unless you plan ahead. That's why Trust and Will created the Young Adult Plan. It includes HIPAA authorization, healthcare directives, and power of attorney. Everything your child needs to stay protected and stay connected. Go to trustandwill.com and get your Young Adult Plan for just $69, because turning 18 shouldn't mean cutting parents out of the picture. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will. Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
You know what? I don't take that for granted at all. I'm so appreciative that folks do make this their first thing. You do show up and tune in and comment on the YouTube, KBLA1580.com. It's always kind of good conversation in there. Terry says, many con people make good politicians and lawyers. Molly Bell says, calling other Comptonites to listen to the convo. Kwamel Allah says, the black preachers involved in politics because the black preachers are involved in community. And Carl Tucker is reminding us of Walter Tucker, the third mayor of Compton. Speaking of Compton's rather colorful electoral history.
Anyway. Is that my cue?
Yeah, that's always your cue. I stop talking, you start. That's Jasmyne Canning. I know I said we were going to talk about them. You know the crazy thing, Jasmyne, both of us are hella tired this morning. So usually if I'm tired, I'm either super whack or really great on the radio. I'm hoping we're going with the really great side today. But I think let's
manifest that.
Let's manifest. I think you're
that.
running on like 1 hour sleep. And I'm on about 3, so I got you beat. I got about 3 hours of sleep.
I am, but it's all good. But you know what? Look, we're going to jump into the LA, story, of course. But,
yes.
I just want to remind people that there's a lot of shadiness that goes down in the Southeast cities. I mean, there's a lot of attention that's paid to Los Angeles. We sort of gobble up all the media interest and the media attention. But people, who aren't in politics, often forget that there are 88 cities and communities in the county of Los Angeles. Karen Bass, I love her dearly. Mayor Karen Bass is not the mayor of every city in Los Angeles County, as we found out when I had to remind news reporters that she wasn't the mayor of Altadena.
And some of them still haven't gotten the memo, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
I had people in New York and all over the country blaming her for something that she has no jurisdiction over. People need to know their neighborhoods. My favorite hashtag, my favorite political saying is know your zip code. Know where you live, who represents you. And yeah, we have 88 cities and communities. And, we saw what happened in Bell. We've seen what has happened in sort of other cities that have sort of been off the radar. So it's not, unbelievable that something like this could happen. It's just that it's come back around now because there's potentially a trial about to happen. And, folks were very invested in this at the time. And I think that there'll be lots of folks that go down to the courthouse and sit in court and pay attention and see what happens. And I just want to give a shout out to the folks who were sounding the alarm and ringing the bell. There were quite a few folks in Compton who put in a lot of work trying to help let folks know what happened. I think Council Member Spicer is on vacation. August is usually a dark month for a lot of cities, meaning that they don't have council meetings. They take their summer break. I think he's gone. But, there were a lot of folks. Nina Jo comes to mind. There were just quite a few folks, and then there were even some people who were involved in it, right, who were involved in the scheme, who stepped forward and told the truth about what happened and really helped crack things wide open.
Yeah, so, I also want to point out that this is not the same guy. This is the guy helping the same guy, the Galvan guy, is the same guy who allegedly called then council member Michelle Chambers some racially problematic terms. And so, yeah, there's all connections to various scandals. I'm glad you said that, Jasmyne, because Mayor Karen Bass is not the mayor of Compton or Altadena. And I get that LA is confusing because it's a city and it's also a county. And the city itself,
and
it also, so it's LA County, and then there's LA City, and then LA City itself has a lot of different places not called LA that are part of LA. So it is confusing.
Right, the unincorporated areas.
Well, yeah, I mean, technically the Valley is LA, but Santa Monica isn't, right? So if you don't know, it can be a bit confusing. Pomona's part of LA, right? But Gardena,
County.
but it's not part of the city. Pacoima, is that what I'm thinking? See, I'm confused, and
You're
I live
thinking
here.
of Pacoima. But here's another
which is
one.
hella
Marina Del Rey is part of the city.
Right. So, and Pacoima's hella far, but Santa Monica's right here. But Pacoima's part of LA, and Santa Monica isn't. So if you know, even if you know, you don't know. But if you're from New York, you definitely don't know. Gardena's right here. Compton's right here, not part of LA. Inglewood, right next door, has its own mayor. Pay attention, follow along. If you don't know, ask Jasmyne.
Well, yeah. I mean, I always tell people if you don't know and you know yourself and you know you're not going to put the energy into knowing, you should definitely follow people, keep up with people who are going to try to help you, know what's going on, and especially know your zip code, because it makes no sense for us to know what's going on with the grifter in chief.
Right.
And we don't even know what's going on in our very own backyards. But then when that water bill comes, that electricity bill comes, when those property taxes go up, people are screaming bloody murder. And it's like, well, where you been at?
Yeah. Well. Speaking of where you've been at, we're going to have a mayoral race in the actual LA, which does also include the Palisades, but again, not Inglewood, or for that matter, Altadena. We're going to have a mayoral race. It's right around the corner. We already know that, it's highly likely that Rick Caruso will run again, right? Unless he's running for county CEO.
There's a lot of speculation there. I don't know what Rick Caruso is going to do. I know that, our mayor managed to fend off a recall attempt, right? So we saw that happen right after the fires.
Yeah.
People are really invested. People are really invested in the midterms. They should also be invested in their local elections. So 2026 isn't just about trying to fix some things in Washington, D.C., but it's also about trying to fix some things right here at home.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles, we elect a mayor every 4 years. We have term limits for our mayor. Our mayor can only serve 2 terms. That has not changed in a while. So our mayor, Karen Bass, is finishing up her first term and is looking to do a second term. And are there going to be people that challenge her?
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And some of them are kind of making themselves known, or at least a lot of rumors have circulated. I've been talking about that, Monica Rodriguez. I've now hearing that Kenneth Mejia, the controller, will not run. But there's a long list, and some have been doing polling, right, to try to see how they might fare against our mayor. One of those is LA County's supervisor, former West Hollywood Mayor Lindsey Horvath.
Yes. So let me just preface all of my comments by saying what you're going to hear, listeners, is being brought to you by someone who has relationships with both of these women, and I enjoy peace over drama. So,
she don't do drama, but she sure makes some.
I enjoy peace over drama. I know both of these women, both Mayor Karen Bass and Supervisor Lindsey Horvath. I have known Mayor Karen Bass since before she became an assembly member representing back then in Assembly District 47. Okay, now that's quite some time ago. She's been a lot of places since then, right? And I met Lindsey Horvath when she was a council member in West Hollywood,
where she lives,
when Ed Buck was going around, when Ed Buck was going around soliciting Black gay men, and they were showing up dead of crystal meth overdoses in his West Hollywood apartment.
Right, you're the one that introduced me to her back then when she was running for mayor of West Hollywood. And
she was the only person who never took money from Ed Buck, and she was the only person willing to speak up.
And I've always thought that she was a progressive, even though I know she was a Republican as a college student. But lately, I'm beginning to wonder because of some of the moves that she's been making. I thought she was going to run for that county CEO position, that her and Janice Hahn defied the other brilliant women on the council, the Republican and the two women of color, the one black woman. And now we've created a whole mess in the county where we are at risk of losing Measure J. And it's, if I was Holly Mitchell, I would have an "I told you so" t-shirt on every single day in council. Every day. In every color of the rainbow. But anyway, I digress.
She did. And Supervisor Mitchell really tried to warn folks about the dangers of moving very quickly with doing that. That's the big rush.
Yeah, well, now we see that they were right. And look, when the only black woman on your board of supervisors teams up with the only Republican and the only Latina, y'all need to STFU and listen. But anyway, that's another show for another day. But Supervisor Lindsey Horvath was among those who did polling to see how she would fare against Mayor Karen Bass. And I'm not going to lie to you. I know that's your friend. And I know people think that this is a progressive, but I have seen her coming for black women ever since she became supervisor, whether it was Supervisor Holly Mitchell, whether it was Judge Armstead, who's over JCOD, and I don't like that look. First of all, you're a junior supervisor. I know you were mayor of West Hollywood, but that city is about the size of this radio studio.
1.9 square miles.
Okay, I rest my case. You look, I'm not saying that you can't have an opinion, but I might say something I shouldn't say on the radio, Jasmine.
I agree with you. Let me try to stop you.
Okay.
Let me tell you. There are many, many people that I like, that I am friends with, more than just having supported them. But when we don't see eye to eye on something, we don't see eye to eye. I didn't see eye to eye with Supervisor Horvath on creating an elected CEO position. I stood with Supervisor Mitchell.
That was a terrible idea. And now we're about to see how it's about to go down. But I mean, what I was about to say, that maybe I'll find a better way to say it, but some progressives.
What you gonna say, girl?
Should I be a politician or a radio host? What do you say, Miles? Some people, whether they're politicians or whether they're in community-based organizations or protest circles, people that are not black seem to think they have authority over people who are in progressive spaces, just like they do in non-progressive spaces. And I have a problem with it. I don't care if you have a black child or a black boy or girlfriend, or, some of your best friends are black. You ain't that, and you need to put some respect on my community.
I agree. Here's the thing. The reality is, Mayor Karen Bass did not have to run to be mayor. There are no term limits in Congress. She chose to run for mayor. It's a thankless job.
Yeah, if you're a black woman, apparently.
Especially. She's doing, in my opinion, a much better job than her predecessor, Eric Garcetti.
Who?
She deserves...
Who?
Right, exactly. She deserves to be able to continue to realize her vision for the city of Los Angeles and be reelected. And then if Lindsey wants to run for the seat when it's open, run for it. Intentionally, this is not the fight Democrats need in 2026. We got some other big issues. We got a city attorney's race. We have a sheriff's race. We have a lot of other local races that we need to be paying attention on and putting us against each other. And I hear some people saying, but it's not partisan, but it's LA.
Yeah.
So putting Democrat against Democrat in a race for mayor, that's unnecessary. The seat will be open.
Especially when you know that our mayor our particular mayor right now, Mayor Karen Bass, who's doing an amazing job. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. I mean, you could have disagreements with her, but the point of the matter is you already know she's under attack from these far right MAGA people. Elon Musk is tweeting about her. The president is trying to disrespect her. She's getting death threats every day. And here you come, a so-called progressive. Oh, let me try to challenge. You wanted to make a county CEO seat? Run for that. You know what? I should just let you talk because I can tell I'm sleepy about to say crazy stuff. Just keep it locked right here because you don't know what might come out my mouth today. Go ahead, Jazz.
It's beyond me, and like I said, it's just not the fight that I think voters in Los Angeles need right now. I think there are some other really important positions. I think there's still a lot of work that needs to go into educating people about the difference between the city attorney and the district attorney's office and the importance that the city attorney's office has. No, for real, especially for folks who care about homelessness.
Yeah, no, I know. It's one of those things that we should know, but we don't know. Jasmyne Canick, hold that thought. I know you're about to break it down for us. That and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
Become a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Get free and confidential information on immigration and citizenship. Visit lapl.org/NAI to find your nearest library or call us at 213-228-7390. That's lapl.org/NAI or 213-228-7390 and start your path to becoming a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Call 213-228-7390 or visit lapl.org/NAI.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or 2 half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
We do not. We're talking with political strategist and journalist Jasmyne Canick. I know you're Hello Jasmyne on my Instagram feed, and I am Jasmyne with YJASMYNE is the website, right?
Yes, IamJasmyne.com.
Where you can do what a lot of these local news stations do and just copy all of her content. That's what they do. Let's see. Our other news desk is IamJasmyne.com.
That is so funny. And what's so sad is I don't even update my website as much as I should because people don't really like to read anymore. So I really just do most of my speaking and stuff through social media because, sign of the times. But, I still write every now and then. But if you really want to follow me, but not in person, You can do it on Instagram or Facebook. Those are the only two things I have time for.
Okay, don't look for her on other platforms. But you were saying about the difference between the city attorney and the DA's race, because we recently, the county, which is where the district attorney is seated, we just got Nathan Hochman, the independent Reed Republican that is currently leading us. And city attorney does have a race next year, right?
The city attorney is running for re-election, and every city has a city attorney. Inglewood has its own. Compton has its own. Hawthorne has its own. LA has a city attorney. And for people who care about like tenant-landlord issues, homelessness, the prosecution of a lot of these misdemeanors, environmental issues, a lot of that falls under the purview of the Los Angeles City Attorney. And so like we did a whole educational, lifting up around the district attorney's office some years ago and really taught people about that role, I see that really needs to be done for the city attorney's race as well. So my point in bringing that up was just to say that, again, as voters, we have sort of bigger fish to fry. Alex Villanueva never one to let, delusion have a day off, has decided that he's going to run for sheriff again.
Yeah.
As a Republican. So we have a lot of races that really are going to need our attention. That are going to have a lot of candidates in them, not to mention the fact that we have a governor's race.
Right.
That, as folks know now, former Vice President Kamala Harris is not going to be running, which, let me just, in case you're sad, there's no shortage of candidates in that race, right? Including Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, Betty Yee, our current lieutenant governor, like that there's a long list there as well of folks that are going to be courting the black vote. And I just think that Karen Bass is doing the job as best she can under the circumstances. And when you think about what she's had to face, what she inherited from the previous administration, all of the things that are going on in this country, being targeted by the president, there's a lot of pressure there, and she's still standing and she's still fighting. I just don't see a reason for anyone to want to challenge her. And I think that if folks really want to run for mayor, that seat will be open. And
how can Horvath even run for mayor? She lives in West Hollywood.
Well, according to the news report that's been running on another radio station, she has moved into Los Angeles.
Oh, wow. What a surprise. I didn't track that, but it makes sense because you have to live in L.A. to run in L.A. Okay, well.
We didn't even get to talk about my issue. I'm super after all of this, we never even got to talk about the city council cameras.
Oh, darn it. Oh, no. Well, you got 60 seconds. We didn't do it. We got sidetracked.
Okay, I'm going to do it in 60 seconds.
Okay, go.
Okay. All right. So last week, the City Council of Los Angeles voted to ban the N-word and the C-word in City Council. We know that that's going to be challenged. We know folks are still going to go down there using all of that language, hoping to get kicked out so they can sue and get money. I'm asking the LA City Council to please reposition the angle of those cameras inside the council chambers. If folks have the gall to go down there with their whole chest and call people the N-word and monkeys and the C-word and everything else, we should be able to see them. That camera should not be 100 feet away. Why are we protecting people? There's no expectation of privacy when you go to make public comment at a city council meeting. And I really think that they need to move those cameras. And I'm also tired of people accusing folks like me who talk about it and post these videos of it being AI simply because they can't see in the corner that there is a person standing at the podium giving public comment. Did I do well in 60 seconds?
You did amazing, Jasmyne Canick, and you're right. Let the internet do its work on these people. The internet loves to bother racists. Oh, Jasmyne, but luckily for us, you're coming back tomorrow to talk about South LA Pride, man. Black and proud, black and I'm proud. That doesn't work. In any case, we'll see you tomorrow to talk about South LA Pride, Black Pride.
Which is coming up on Saturday. Absolutely. I'm really super excited that folks who are organizing that are going to come join you in studio and talk about that, because like immigration is a Black issue, so are queer issues.
All right. News, traffic, and sports. See you tomorrow.
See you later.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams picked up endorsements from nearly 100 faith leaders Tuesday at City Hall.
Each one of you at one given time have prayed for me during the most difficult moment of my life. Look at these 3 years and 7 months.